You know what he loves?
You think he's got a little?
No,
He loves this joke. What do you call a gay dinosaur? A Megasaurus! Get it? Sure. Okay.
I'll have to put the word sure.
Oh, you don't say sure after every joke, Gilbert?
What do you call a lesbian dinosaur? A lick-a-lot-of-puss. Sure.
Which reminds me, what's the first symptom of AIDS? A pounding sensation in your ass! Sure. It reminds me of one of Cesar Romero's favorite jokes. How do you make a gay man scream twice? You fuck his ass, then you wipe your dick on his carpet. Yes. Sure. Thanks a lot, BJ.
Three fags are in a hot tub. All of a sudden, a blob of semen floats to the top. One fag turns to the other two and goes, okay, who farted? Sure!
that'll do.
Wow, man.
Jesus. Hey, what a way. Welcome to Your Music Sucks. I'm Brian Bowden. That is Craig Gass. And today is it's a sad day. We found out a couple hours ago that Gilbert Gottfried passed away, and he's a comic I've never met. I've always wanted to meet. I've always heard great stories, but you met him. He's your boy. You guys know each other. He's your friend.
Yeah, I was too in awe of him to be his friend. I really looked up to him and admired him. I would get nervous around him. A couple years ago, I was performing in Philadelphia, and there's a girl named Meredith who's a PR person in Philly who's connected to all the media outlets. She works with the comedy clubs out there. She works a lot with the Helium Comedy Club. And Meredith hit me up. She heard that I was in town promoting my shows, and she said, I got Gilbert Gottfried with me. You want to join us for lunch? And I was like, I would love to. And at lunch, he was exactly what I expected, really quiet. Off stage, he would, yeah, sure. Okay, yes. Oh, yes. And I don't know where this sure came from. I feel like he said it to me a lot off stage. I don't know where that came from. But at lunch that day, I was like, what should I ask him? What should I ask him? And I was trying to keep the conversation cool. I was trying to not fan out. And then I realized something like, oh, man, I got a question. I have read so many great stories about comedians who have found their voice. And they describe a moment in time. It's like, oh, that's my path right there. Like Richard Pryor. I don't know if you know this, used to be self-admittedly, was a Bill Cosby ripoff. He would basically do Bill Cosby's act. Richard Pryor wanted to be Bill Cosby because Bill Cosby was a successful black man, the first black man to ever appear on the cover of Time magazine. And Richard Pryor was like, that's what I want. I want to be like that. And he tried to do a Bill Cosby type act. And he
don't want to be like that now. No. I don't want to be like that.
Who knew? But Richard described a night in Vegas where he had a breakdown. And during that breakdown, he just said the N-word. And the N-word was, in his mind, so powerful and so divisive. And he just kept saying it. And he just loved saying the N-word. And then he realized, you know what? That's an honest word. And he changed his whole act. Sam Kinison has a moment that Carl LeBeau was a witness to, because Carl LeBeau, his best friend, picked him up at his apartment. And Kinison was in the middle of his second marriage at the time. And when Carl showed up, he could hear on the other side of the door that Kinnison was in a huge domestic argument. Like there was like plates, like "fuck you, fuck you, I hate you too." And then Carl knocks on the door. Kinnison runs out. He goes, "Just go, go, go!" They jump in the car, and he said he drove over the Hollywood Hills, and Sam was just like. So he just didn't say anything. He knew exactly what was going on. Just gave him his space. They went to the Comedy Store and they're like, "Hey Sam, can you go up early?" And he was like, "Yeah, I guess." And they threw him up early because a comic hadn't made it. Sam Kinison walks up on stage and sees a cute, attractive, happy couple in the front row. They're being all affectionate, and Sam just goes, "Wow, you guys, you guys are a very cute couple. Are you guys married? You're not? Are you thinking about getting married? You are. All right. Well, why don't you do me a favor? If you're ever thinking about getting married, I want you to remember this face. Oh! Because you get married, that's your fucking face for the rest of your life." And it struck such an emotional chord with people that Sam was like, "Fuck." And then Carl even said to him, "Yeah, I felt it. I felt it, man. There's something about that scream. There was something." And that's how that voice was born. So I asked Gilbert, I said, I described everything I just said to you. I said, Richard Pryor said this. Sam Kinison said this. What was the moment when you started doing that voice on stage? And Gilbert Gottfried very honestly said, "I didn't even know I was doing something." Comedians would say, "Why are you talking like that?" And I said, "Like what?" He had no idea. He had a nervous tick that made him scream all of his jokes out on stage. Were you a fan
That's
of his?
really funny. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, he was beloved. I grew up watching the guy. He was in everything.
I loved watching him perform because the audiences were the best part of the shows because you could tell that people were like, "Wait a minute. Oh, is he not going to talk about Aladdin?" And I remember seeing him at Caroline's, and the place is packed with families. And he says, he walks up on stage and goes, "I was in Africa the other day. You know, it's all black people there now." Like everyone goes, "What?" Like he was such an absurd, bizarre, politically incorrect guy. It's so weird to think of him as in the past tense, but one of my favorite entertainment business stories involves Gilbert. The first roast I ever did was a roast of Richard Belzer. It was because I was on the Howard Stern show, which, by the way, the whole conversation today I was expecting to have with you is my return to the Howard Stern show. I've been on Howard Stern all week this week. And it's my first full week back on the Howard Stern show, but obviously Gilbert's passing takes precedence. So we can talk about Howard next week. But when I first started sitting next to Howard, Richard Belzer came in and really was nice to me and said, "I want you to be on my roast." He came in to promote a roast. The roast of Richard Belzer was happening at the town hall in New York City. And he said, "I want you to be a part of the roast." And he was at dinner. "I want you to sit at my table." And there's this really funny story that happens with, he invited Christopher Walken to sit at our table, and I ended up choking on my food because I was so nervous about Christopher Walken that I inhaled my steak, and Christopher Walken just kept staring at me going, "Are you okay? Can you breathe?" And I was like, and it was fucking me up even more to see Christopher Walken.
That would fuck me up too, man. If I was choking and getting pressured to not die by Christopher Walken, like, that's a lot. That's a lot
It really does. And when we got
that's a lot of stress.
When we got to the roast, there is a moment that you are going to understand as being a fucked up moment that you just don't do to comedians. Gilbert Gottfried was invited to sit on the dais, and he was told explicitly, because he said, "I don't want to perform." Like, "Oh, that's fine. We just sit on the dais." And he's like, "Okay, sure." And then when he showed up, they were like, "So you're going to go up after Christopher Walken?" And he said, "I don't have any jokes." And they were like, "Oh, just go up there and just say something." So before the show starts, Gilbert is scrambling for material. In the basement of the theater, it's me and Jim Norton and Rich Voss. Jim and Rich are handing him jokes. And they're like, "Oh, you could say this, or you could say this, or you could say this." And I said, You know what would be funny is if you just went on stage and just said, if you were just completely disconnected to the show, like if you just said a bunch of jokes that had nothing to do with the roast, and he said, I think you're right. And then he goes out on stage. They go, ladies and gentlemen, coming up next, you know him from, joke, 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 insult, insult, insult. Please welcome Gilbert Gottfried. Gilbert Gottfried walks up to the microphone and stops at Richard Belzer. And you can hear on the microphone, you can hear him say, I'm sorry. I'll do the best I can. And then he gets up and says, I just insert the name Richard Belzer wherever you'd like. And he just did 5 minutes of pedophile jokes, like one after the other was more disgusting than the last. What was interesting is that it's a roast, but people are so offended that you can actually hear audible gasp coming from the audience. Like people are so upset. Nobody's laughing. And Gilbert just keeps going and keeps going. And then he pauses and says, okay, so I'll close with this. How do you get a faggot to fuck a woman? You stuff her cunt full of shit. God bless you. And he got a standing ovation. He got it's like the audience was just like, oh, fuck it. He broke the back of the audience. It was the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. Watching him do that.
That's like when Rocky defeated Ivan Drago in Russia, man. Rocky IV.
Yeah, it really was. He won the fight. It reminds me of, God, this has got to be somewhere. It has to be somewhere online. There's a moment that I saw as like the night that it aired. Gilbert Gottfried was on the Tonight Show with Jay Leno, and Jay Leno was bringing up something about Gilbert, and Gilbert started insulting Jay Leno and insulting his face and his chin, and the crowd turned on him, and the crowd started booing him. And Gilbert Gottfried stood up, walked off the soundstage into the audience and said, the only reason you're even here is because you couldn't get tickets to Blossom. And the place paused. They went, they all started applauding. It was the ballsiest thing. Like, he fucking leaned into it. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. But fun. I didn't know he was sick. Apparently, Jeff Ross posted that he got a chance to talk to him last night and say goodbye, which is sad. And he was such a peculiar person, you know. Have you ever heard any rumors about his behavior off stage?
I know he was notoriously cheap.
Yes.
I know he was notoriously cheap. And I've heard stories of him going to comedy clubs and getting food to go, and taking them home, like taking it home. I know he had a what?
He had a what?
The shampoo soaps, the shampoo
collection.
And the soaps
he had a collection.
Hotel,
yeah, notoriously cheap.
That shit.
He'd go into Caroline's and stop into Caroline's in Times Square, and they'd be like, Gilbert, do you want to go on stage? And he'd say, no, I just maybe sit down and watch the show. And they were like, sure, would you like anything to eat? And he said, yes, can I see a menu, please? And they'd give him a menu, and he'd be like, let me get the burger, and I'll have the steak. Ooh, the chicken sandwich looks good. Let me, and they'd be like, oh, you want all of that? And yes, can you put it in a to-go box? And he'd have all these to-go boxes. He'd have 2 bags of food, and he'd watch and just be like, okay, I think I'm going to go home. And he'd just fucking walk out with bags of food. And there's a radio buddy of mine, Johnny Dare in Kansas City, who told me a story about how after they got done doing the interview, all radio stations used to have the prize closet. They still do at some radio stations. It's not as big anymore. Where radio stations.
That sounds like a place you go and get raped.
Yeah. The prize closet.
Oh, Brian, won't you come into the prize closet?
Bill Cosby had a prize closet. Come into the prize.
Go in there. The prize closet.
Camille, wait for you inside the prize closet. Go in, baby. Oh boy. Oh boy.
If you come in the prize closet, I'll come inside you.
So all radio stations used to have a prize closet, and they still do, but the prize closet would be loaded with cool shit, movies and certificates to at restaurants in town and movie passes, all kinds of cool shit. And so Gilbert is on the Johnny Dare show, and they do an interview, and it goes well. Thanks for coming, Gilbert. And he goes, yeah, sure. And then he stands up and says, so where's the prize closet? And they go, oh, you want some stuff from the hey, where's the promotions girl? And then the head of promotions comes in, and they go, hey, Gilbert wants to check out the prize closet. You got anything good in there? And she goes, we haven't had anything good in a while. In fact, it's empty. I think all I have is I have a box set of 50 VHS tapes from the World Wrestling Federation. And Gilbert goes, okay, I'll take that. And it was like almost a suitcase of VHS tapes. And Gilbert walked out into the parking lot with a box, and he fucking put it on a plane with him and flew back with
That's
50.
Great. I love that shit.
50 VHS tapes. I can't judge because on some level I relate to it. I love free stuff. I mean, when we're on the road,
you do love your fucking share of free shit, Craig. Let's not fucking call a spade a spade. I've seen you do some shit. You have it timed out. You're like we'll be at a place and you'll be like, all right, so when there's 4 minutes left to go, that's when they usually put the fucking burgers out. So I'm gonna get in line when there's 4 minutes left to go on the court. But he has a team. He's like, oh, there's a line over there. What's it for? And then Craig will just walk up and these bags for people. I'm gonna take. Thank you. Right? Or the best.
The best.
Oh no.
Is,
the Jericho cruise when they had the artist lounge and they had all this stuff they were giving away to everybody on the ship, whether it's hats or coasters or keychains, posters, whatever the fuck it is. And so I grabbed some stuff from my buddies and I brought it back to the room. And then I go back and Craig, it was like Craig just moved the table to the room. I'm like, Craig, what are we gonna do with all this? Like, what are we doing? Are we supposed to throw this overboard to see if it floats? We can't get this off the ship, buddy.
I do love free stuff. I definitely love free stuff. I do love free stuff. But Gilbert Gottfried, an absolute legend. We're losing so many of our greatest comedians and one of the best politically incorrect guys. I'm just that's a weird one. I'm still wrapping my head around it. Like, we literally just heard this news in the last couple hours. We were on a group text with me, you, and Tom sent us a thing about it. But that is a guy who's going to be missed. This show that we have, Your Music Sucks, is Brian and I, best friends. We love each other. We love hanging out with each other. We just don't see eye to eye when it comes to music. And so once a week, we send each other one of our favorite songs. And I think this week is the first time we've ever come really close to being right in the same wheelhouse. I feel like somebody would see these two song selections that we have and think, man, it sounds like you guys are into the same bands. We just happened to come really close to each other this week. The closest I think we'll ever come to each other. You sent me a John Mayer song, and I sent you a Pearl Jam song. Do you want to go first? You want me to go first?
I will go first. I will go first with the Pearl Jam song. First off, I've seen Pearl Jam a couple times. I like Pearl Jam. Grew up on Pearl Jam. I like Pearl Jam. Never really listened to the song Sirens before. I know I've heard it before.
You have.
Oh yeah, I think you played it in Hawaii a bunch. You were driving
Every
Hawaii.
time I go to Hawaii,
I play Sirens. It's like, okay, yeah. Happy birthday, Craig. Sirens on repeat.
Yep. Yeah.
But then breaking it down. So it starts out. I said it started out slow and pussyish, and I'm like, oh shit, it's gonna be one of those slow pussyish fucking songs. And then, like, the words kick in, and it sounds like he's singing about just living in a bad area of the neighborhood because he can hear the the Sirens, and uh, and uh, and at that point, I was disconnected from the song because I don't see Eddie Vedder living in a shitty part of town, so it kind of disconnected me for a little bit. And then I guess, is this song about some guy that just takes his bitch for granted, and she stayed with him? Is that what this is about?
It sounds like it, yeah, because he talks about if I was to drive you into the arms of another man. Uh, I haven't, it's he definitely describes that. Like, I don't want to drive you away.
I was just about to read some of the lyrics,
Yeah.
but it was the John Mayer song that I had up, and I'm like, and then he sang this part of the song. He sang this part about vultures.
No, he definitely there's definitely some inferences to, if that's the right word, to him losing his woman, and I wouldn't want to drive you into the arms of another man. The Sirens, I'm assuming, is just I don't know, but go ahead with your, before I tell you my interpretation, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I love the progression of the song. I like how, I mean, it started out a little slow. It's like one of those slow burns, right? But the more you listen to this song, the more into it I got. So by the end of the song, when they finally hit the high parts and they go into that little jam, I was fucking sold on the song.
No shit.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoy it. I enjoy it. I'll give this a 3.5 on the Young Music Sucks scale.
On a scale of 1 to 5, you're going to give it a 3.5.
I'll give it a 3.5.
Okay. Reason I sent it to you is just because I was feeling melancholy about Gilbert. I was just trying to think of like a song that would put me in that mood, and for whatever reason, I just picked this Pearl Jam song. It fits the mood that I'm in today. That's the only reason. It's not even. I tried to think of a song that would be connected to Gilbert. I couldn't think of a song connected to Gilbert, but just a song that's connected to that melancholy feeling, and this song is that. So
it's perfect for that. Perfect
and
melancholy feely song.
And from what I can gather, I think the Sirens are about, I think it's about the chaos that can happen in a relationship and in life. I could be wrong. I don't know. But the song you sent me is a John Mayer song. Interesting, because I was wondering, why did he send me? Is there a reason you sent me the song, or is this just totally random?
All right. I love John Mayer. Okay. I love John Mayer. And I've been wanting to send you a John Mayer song. But his catalog is so vast. And it ranges. Like I can send you a song and it sounds like a country song. He has a whole fucking album that sounds like fucking yacht rock. Like, it ranges. It really ranges. But this song for me really kind of captures everything that I like about like musically, what I like when I jam bands and John Mayer, and that is Vultures.
Well, this is interesting because, and I've been saying this for a few weeks now, I'm not into any of the music that Brian's into. I'm not into Grateful Dead. I'm not into Fish. He loves jam bands. He's tried to describe to me the emotion and feeling that he gets when bands just start jamming, which is when I tune out. My ADD can't lock into that. Brian's ADD apparently locks into it. And he sends me this song, and I like it. I like the feel of it. It doesn't push me away right away. It's a groove that I've never heard this song, by the way. This song, it's called Vultures by John Mayer. And I'm listening to it, and I'm like, trying to figure out what it's about, and which I never figured out. But the chorus is down to the wire. I wanted water, but I walked through the fire. I don't even remember how the melody goes. If this is what
it was just like that.
Yeah. And I'm like, wow, this song isn't bad. And then all of a sudden, and this is the reason why I have forgotten everything about the song and don't remember the melody or remember shit, is because at the 3-minute 22-second mark, which I would encourage everyone to take a look at, if you're watching John Mayer and you're like, who gets into this shit? And at 3:22 of this Vultures video, it's a live performance. Look at 3:22. It's an audience shot. Not a guy to be seen in the crowd. It's hundreds, just in that one little shot, hundreds of women. I went, what the fuck? 100. It's got to be. It's an arena full of women.
It's an arena of women.
Dude, I couldn't believe. I actually went back to look at it again, and I counted 2 guys. I was looking for dudes, and I found 2 guys in the entire crowd. I was
It's
like,
where's Waldo? It's like, where's the dick? Where's the
that's
dick at the John Mayer show?
That's why you go to a John Mayer show. So on a scale of 1 to 5, musically, I give it a 3.5. But for wanting to go see a John Mayer show now, I give it 1,000. I want to go to the next John Mayer show, and me and you. I don't even know if he would. I've seen him a couple times at the Comedy Store. He always seems nice. And I've even roasted him at the roast battle. Like I'll sit next to Jeff Ross, and Jeff will hand me the microphone from time to time, and I'll be like, "Hey, Bill Cosby wants to say something. Hey, Tracy Morgan wants to say something. Hey, Sam Kinison wants to say something." And Jeff will go, "Oh, guess who's here?" Blah blah blah. And then I'll grab the mic and I'll make fun of it. And I made fun of John Mayer a couple times, and he's been cool with it. But yeah, we got to go see John Mayer now.
Dude, I fucking love John Mayer. I feel like John Mayer and Applebee's are 2 things that I have to defend on a constant basis.
I love
and I know you love Applebee's. That's why we get along, man. It's not your fucking restaurant sucks. It's your music.
What's your favorite thing at Applebee's?
I like, you know what? I like everything. I like the half price status, but I really like the salads. I like the Oriental chicken salad.
Dude, the Oreo chicken salad is great. Their chicken Caesar salad is great. And they have a new thing now for it's a crispy wonton chicken taco.
Yes!
Dude.
The wonton chicken tacos are delicious.
I don't even know where the hell that came from.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, I would love that. I sit down at an Applebee's and listen to John Mayer and just fucking eat fucking sizzling fajitas. You know, like that's a fucking great night as far as I'm concerned. It's fucking dope shit.
I'm about to put out a lengthy tour schedule called the Where Have You Been tour. And I know some of the dates we're going to do together. We're definitely going to go to Miami together. We're going to go to a couple places together around the country. Let's hit Applebee's as soon as we get to every city. And
fuck yeah, man.
Tell them we're mentioning them. Yeah. Everybody
at Applebee's, bitch. We're coming, baby. We're coming.
We got to get a free meal out of this now.
Get your fucking 2 for $20s ready, bitch. Because we coming. We coming.
Where do people find you, Brian?
IllinoisCockburn.com.
Why do you sound all depressed when you say that? You're all fired up about.
I was all fired up to talk about John Mayer and how great he is.
You were all fired up about Applebee's. Then you when you went to promote
Applebee's. I'm a passionate fucking person, Craig, and I'm just trying to exude that passion. We started off all sad from Gilbert Gottfried dad. Now look at us. We just talk about the menu of fucking Applebee's with such joy and fucking it's fucking incredible. Find 2 people that can get that excited about fucking Applebee's, and I'll fucking show you two fucking lion sacks of shit. Is what I'll show you.
You eat at Applebee's, you can't deny I always get the French onion soup. This is a full blown commercial now, but yeah, if you've eaten at Applebee's, you know the food is good. So yeah, I love their salads, love the French onion soup, and I love that new chicken wonton taco. I need to go back to an Applebee's tonight.
Fuck yeah, dude.
It's nearby.
Applebee's,
all right.
Codside to go.
Go see Brian. His tour dates are at IllinoisCockburn.com, and also the amazing Wicked Funny podcast that just keeps growing and growing and growing. I will be going to Seattle this Friday night to roast Steve Miggs. I've been rounding up clips from some musicians, one of which is a friend of ours. You know who I'm talking about when I say a musician friend of ours, who we performed on the Jericho cruise with. He's sending in a surprise clip for the Miggs roast, and I'll be there on Friday night at Snoqualmie Casino, and there's a lot more tour dates coming up at getgas.com. Getgas with 2 S's.com, and I will see you next week, Brian. I love you, but your music sucks, but man, we're going to John Mayer to see the millions of women in the crowd.
Hell yeah, man. Fucking Skankfest at John Mayer. Your music sucks.